If you want super springy legs, amazing balance, and supreme athleticism, then you should train with the Hindu squat. If you want to avoid injuring your knees, be able to squat down with your grandchildren in old age, then you should train with the Hindu squat. And if you want to unlock some incredible benefits for your aerobic capacity, even your focus, endurance, and willpower, then you should train with the Hindu squat. In fact, the question we really need to ask is, why aren't more people using this amazing exercise? I have some theories about that, actually, but we'll get to that in a moment. First, let me try and sell you on this incredible movement. But let's start by answering a question that's arguably pretty fundamental to this whole topic, and that is, what is a Hindu squat? So essentially, a Hindu squat is like a regular squat, apart from one major difference, that being that you're going to come up on the balls of your feet when you get to the bottom of the movement. And this actually changes the effect that the Hindu squat has in a lot of different ways. That's not the only difference. There is a specific hand movement that we're going to talk about in a moment. There's a specific breathing pattern which can add so much value to this exercise. But the fundamental concept behind this is that we're doing a squat and we're coming up on the balls of the feet. So why come up on your toes? Well, of course, first of all, if you come up more on your toes during a squat, that's going to place more emphasis on your quads. This is really good if you're interested in hypertrophy and you want to get that nice teardrop look, which I do. I could certainly use a little bit more aesthetics in the legs area. This is also great for athletic performance because, as Ben Patrick, Knees Over Toes guy, talks about a lot, when you bring the knees over the toes, this is a great way to target the VMO, the vastus medialis in particular. This is the thigh muscle with the highest density of fast twitch muscle fiber, which means it's great for explosive movements like sprinting, jumping really high, and you don't really target this at all during a regular squat. So that's a fantastic reason to be getting yourself into this position. It's also a great way to strengthen the tendons. This is also really important for athletic performance because, of course, the tendons are stronger than muscles and have those nice elastic properties which are great for rebounding, sprinting, jumping, landing. At the same time, this can help to prevent injury. If you have an existing knee problem, then going straight into Hindu squats might be a bit too much for it. But if you do partial rep ranges, if you gently ease into this movement, it's a really nice, gentle way to start moving the knee past the toe once again to strengthen those tendons so they're fortified against those positions in future. When you run and jump, you don't really bend at the legs all that much, you hardly bend at the ankles. Instead, you're translating force off of the ball of your foot. This position is far more similar to the position you'll find your foot during a Hindu squat. Oh wait, look, there's some cool stuff on the floor here. Wait a second, did you just see that? That was a Hindu squat. So what I'm trying to demonstrate here in a particularly goofy manner is that when you squat down to pick something up off the ground, to enter a low cupboard, the way you normally squat is on the balls of your toes. You perform a Hindu squat. In other words, this is a really important everyday movement pattern. And if you want to make sure that you can play with your grandkids and you can move healthily and normally into old age, then strengthening those knee tendons with this exercise is a fantastic way to do that. And especially if you build up to it slowly with lots of nice progressions. At the same time, this is going to incorporate a balance component because you've got to come up on the balls of your toes, which is harder than you might imagine. And at the same time, you're strengthening your feet because you're in that position. It also engages the calves a lot more than the regular squat. So for all these reasons, this is definitely a movement that I think everyone can benefit from. You know what else everyone can benefit from? Skincare. Tish Hanley is a company that provides skincare products for men, and it makes life more simple by providing you with all the different products you could need for a complete skincare regime. And you get an instruction card that shows you how to use each item, when to use each item, and it makes the whole thing as straightforward as possible. That's great if you're anything like me and you have very little interest in anything that doesn't involve running and explosions. That said, it has become a nice part of my routine. The products do feel very rejuvenating, and I do like just how straightforward and simple they make everything. So for example, you could start with their level 1 system, and that comes with all the basics. That's a daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and grime on your skin, a 2 times per week exfoliating scrub to get rid of dead skin cells, an AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun, and a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. And I've got over 5,000 5-star reviews, so yeah, they must be doing something right. And if you become a member, you'll get loads of benefits, including 20% off the retail price, the ability to customize your box, exclusive monthly deals, and the ability to pause and cancel at any time. There's free US shipping and low-cost shipping to most other countries. And because Tish Hanley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering a great deal. Just click the first link in the description and you'll get 30% off your first box, plus a free gift. Seriously, that's an amazing deal. Click that link and get started today. So let's talk about something else. How do we actually perform this movement? Well, in terms of the basic squat itself, like I say, all you're doing is you're doing a regular squat, but you're coming up on your toes at the end. Now you can opt to stay on your toes throughout the whole movement, or you can just raise up on your toes as you get to the bottom of the movement. Either way is fine. You want to have your feet about shoulder width apart, facing mostly forwards, but it's not the end of the world if they do turn out slightly. And then you're going to drop down, so you're not controlling the descent in a big way, but at the same time you don't want to really bounce off of the bottom position. So as far as the arms are going, what you're going to do is at the top of the movement you're going to have your arms out in front of you, then you're going to row your arms back, then you're going to go into an extension like you're reaching into your back pocket. Check out Original Strength for a great tutorial on how to do this. And then as you squat down, you're going to bring your arms forwards. You can try and brush your feet or brush the floor, but you don't have to. Swing them up and then bring your arms up as you move back upwards. And this is going to provide a little bit of momentum to help you move upwards again. And if this still seems counterintuitive, then the way to think about this is as the way you would jump if you're doing a broad jump, say. If you're going to jump forwards, you probably swing your arms back, then swing them forwards as you leapt forwards. And this is a great way to coordinate that upper body and lower body so that you're moving the whole body as one unit. At the same time, this is just going to burn more calories, get the blood circulating more, and it's going to teach you how to move like that so that when you do come to jump, you're better at producing more force from that lower position with your whole body, not just your legs. What's really interesting though is the breathing aspect. And this is interesting because it might be the reverse of what you're used to doing. So if you were to perform a regular squat, you'd probably breathe in to create that intra-abdominal pressure that's going to help support your core and your spine. Then you'd squat down, and on the way back up, you'd release, you'd breathe outwards during the actual contraction. This is a typical way to breathe, and it's called biomechanical breathing. However, during a Hindu squat, you're going to do something called anatomical breathing or anatomical match breathing. And here, you're going to be breathing out as you go down and up as you come up. And the reason for this is that you're going to be doing what comes naturally to the body, to the lungs, because as you squat down in the Hindu squat, you're compressing your core, you're bringing your knees up, you're getting smaller. This is going to push your diaphragm up and expel air as though you're a pump. And then when you stand back up, you're expanding, you're opening up the rib cage and you can breathe back in. Almost comes naturally. This makes it a much more relaxed form of breathing that's less tiring than contracting and tensing and breathing in that air and then releasing it in a controlled manner. And this allows you to perform higher rep ranges whilst remaining relaxed. And this can translate to greater work capacity across the board. I've seen so many people talk about this reverse breathing pattern and say, that's really good and interesting, but I hadn't seen anyone on YouTube actually explain why this is useful. And so that's where I thought there was probably room for one more video on Hindu squats on YouTube. I do try not to just make videos for the sheer sake of it. Nasal breathing is also encouraged. That means keeping your mouth closed, breathing through the nose. This cleans the air as it comes in, increases nitric oxide, and it can strengthen your respiratory muscles. Over time, this will again greatly increase your work capacity, your cardio performance. And finally, you should also be doing diaphragmatic breathing. That means your stomach should move first. If you place your hand on your stomach, you want to relax there so that this then allows the diaphragm to drop, filling up the lungs from the bottom upwards as much as they can, and the chest should move second as the oxygen eventually fills up to there. Like I said, guys, there are loads of variations whether you want to make it easier or more difficult. If you want to make it easier, then obviously a really simple way to do this is just use a partial range of motion. So that means you're not going all the way down. Just go as far as you can do comfortably and never train through pain. Alternatively, you can hold on to something and use it as an anchor. That could be a chair, that could be a railing, or in this case, a wooden post in the middle of the woods. Of course, if you do have existing knee pain, then don't just jump into this. I highly recommend speaking to someone who can check you over in person first. That said, gentle exercise around the area is much better than complete bed rest. If you want to make things more difficult, on the other hand, then there are plenty of options. Of course, you can perform a one-legged version of this movement, so like a pistol Hindu squat. This is actually a bit easier than the regular pistol squat. It's less of a mobility challenge. You can perform kind of floats down the bottom and balance and test out your range of motion. Great way to improve your balance, your ankle strength, etc. Another alternative that's not a variation of the Hindu squat but performs many of the same functions is the sissy squat. This is a Hindu squat, except you're going to lean back much further, thereby creating a lever arm and increasing the amount of pressure on the knees. This is also a massive balance challenge, though you can of course put a hand on something to balance on your way down. This is not for beginners categorically, same with the pistol Hindu squat, but if you can face it and build up to it slowly, this is a fantastic way to build up massive quads. I've seen people get huge quads from just this exercise alone, and it translates to fantastic athletic performance. Quick disclaimer, I'm really sorry if I butcher any pronunciations here. Often you'll hear the Hindu squat referred to as Baithak. However, Baithak is a more generic term for the squat. The Purnam Baithak, or full squat, is performed with the heels on the ground as you might be used to. You still use the arm movement and the breathing. The Pelhwani Baithak, or wrestling squat, is performed on the balls of the feet, but often with a little jump at the top. Check out Karate TV for a much better demonstration of this move. There's no reason that you can't combine the Hindu squat with a jump. This is going to help you to build more explosive power. You can also perform little bunny hops at the bottom of the movement, as many as you like. This is another variation of the Pelwani Baithak. Again, apologies if I'm pronouncing this wrong. However, you can just add as many bunny hops as you like. Bunny hops are fantastic for building that springiness, that bounciness in the knees at the bottom of that position. So if all that's true and the Hindu squat provides so many benefits, then why is it that more people aren't doing it? Well, my theory is that it's not easy to pile on loads of weight, and the allure of lifting huge amounts of weight is simply too great for most people. Traditionally, the Hindu squat was performed by Indian wrestlers, and they would perform high repetitions. It was about conditioning, it was about strengthening those knee tendons, preventing injuries, and becoming more explosive. There are lots of benefits to performing low resistance, high repetition. I've talked about that loads of times on this channel, so I'm not going to go into it in great detail here now, but suffice to say that not only does this build strength endurance so that you can keep on going, but also increases blood supply to those tendons which naturally get less blood supply, so this is a great way to strengthen them and prevent injury in the knees. This can also boost your myonuclei count to increase your chances of building more muscle and maintaining that muscle, helps to recover faster, and at the same time, if you're going to failure, then you might get some strength benefits from this as well. And there are plenty of people who can attest to the power of high repetition Hindu squats. And the great thing is that you can do this then anywhere. And if you look at the position of your heels in the Hindu squat, then they're slightly elevated as though you're on squat blocks. This makes it much easier to get into that deep position without worrying about things like butt wink, without worrying about back pain or bending over, falling backwards. And by the way, guys, if you do want to see a training program that incorporates this kind of movement and tons of others selected for their functional benefits, then you might enjoy my ebook and training program and video course, Super Functional Training 2.0, the Protein Performance System. That's a training program designed to improve every aspect of your performance. It also comes with over 2 hours of instructional video, an 80+ page ebook, and much more. So put a link to that in the description down below. Check it out if you like. Thanks a ton for watching this one, guys. I hope you found it useful and interesting. Let me know in the description down below what exercise you'd like to see me tackle next time. If you're interested in squatting, then you might also enjoy my video on deep squats and why they're so beneficial and why you should use them every single day. That should be popping up right about now. Alternatively, subscribe and hit the notification button. That helps me out hugely, and at the same time, it'll make sure that you don't miss any of my future content more along these lines. Either way, thank you so much for watching this one, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.